Hello guys and welcome back to Reading Club. Today I'm going to read you this 26-story treehouse. Chapter 4, 5, and 6. Chapter 4, Open Shark Surgery. Cut open a shark? No way. You've got to hand it to Jill. She really loves animals, even sharks. I mean, I like animals. And I think sharks are really cool, but there's no way I'll ever get in a tank and operate on them. Not even if they're too sick to move. Gulp. Shark inspection opening. Help me. And judging by the way Terry is trembling, he is not too keen on the idea either. No. Well, I say I guess we'll leave you to it. Good luck. Bye. Where do you think you're going? Says Jill. To the kitchen, I say. I'm kind of in the middle of telling the readers a story. Kitchen. Me too? Yeah, says Terry. I better go as well. Andy will need me to draw the pictures. Oh, no you don't, says Jill. Both of you are saying right here, I need you to help me with the operation. But what about the readers? I say. Don't worry, says Jill. I'll deal with them. Excuse me, readers. Unfortunately, we've got a bit of an emergency here, and I'm just going to have to borrow Andy and Terry for a moment. Is that okay? Great. Thanks for understanding. And do feel free to watch. Just try not to sneeze. I don't want any more germs getting into these poor sharks. She turns back to us. I've explained the situation to the readers, and they're fine with it. So get your diving suits on, and let's get started. We shrug. Put on our diving suits and follow Jill into the tank. Stupid tight wetsuit. I don't know if you've ever been in a tank full of man-eating sharks before, but believe me, it's pretty scary. The sharks look even bigger down more than they do from up there. My, what big teeth you have, Grandma. Beep. What if the sharks wake up and get hungry while we're doing the surgery, I say. They won't, says Jill. Trust me. But just to be sure, I'll give them each a dose of Dr. Numbskull's Sleepy Shark Sleeping Potion. I hate needles. Can I just ask one question, I say. Sure, says Jill. Are we underwater? Yes, of course we are, she says. And how come we can talk? Sorry, Andy, but that's 2 questions and we only have time for 1. Are you ready? Yes, but what do we do? Says Terry. I've never operated on a shark before. It's not so hard, says Jill. You know how to work a zipper, don't you? Yes. Well, there's one about halfway down its belly. Just unzip it and empty the contents. Wow, I say. I never knew sharks had zippers. I unzipped my shark and peer into its belly. As you might expect, it's full of fish. I can't see any sign of Terry's underpants, but I can see some sort of large round objects. I reached in and pulled it out. Hey, look what I found! It's Captain Woodhead's wooden head. Yikes, says Terry. Oh, said Jill, that's really creepy. Jill's right, it is really creepy. Even though the eyes are made of wood, it feels like they are looking right at you. And it's quite a coincidence, really, because Captain Woodhead is actually tied up with the whole story I was telling you earlier about how Terry and I met. You remember the lonely little boy, the one in the top of the very small tower? Well, Andy, says Jill, stop talking to the readers. Do I have to remind you that we're in the middle of open shark surgery? Let's focus and get this job finished. Then you can blather away all you want. I'm not blathering, I said. I'm narrating. Jill and Terry looked at each other, rolled their eyes, and smiled. Whatever, says Jill. Just save it till later. Hey, look what I found, said Terry, holding up a pair of underpants. And I found a pair too, I say, pulling them out of my shirt. And here's the 3rd pair, said Jill, holding them as far away from her as possible. Terry, these underpants are disgusting. I know, he says. That's why I was trying to wash them. Will the sharks be all right now? I say. I hope so, says Joe. I think the best thing for them is to be zipped back up and have a good rest. The cats and I can take it from here. Chapter 5, Terry's Story. Back in the kitchen, our automatic marshmallow machine sensed how hungry we are and begins firing marshmallows into our mouths. So, says Terry through a mouthful of marshmallow, what story are you telling the readers when I interrupted you? I was telling them the story of how we met, I said. Oh, I love those stories, says Terry. We were both lost in the forest, and then we met and found a house made of gingerbread. And we started eating, and a nice little old lady came out and invited us in. Yum, hello, boys. And then she put you in a cage to fatten you up so she could eat you, which, come to think of it, really wasn't a very nice thing for a nice little old lady to do. They pushed her into the oven, which, come to think of it, wasn't a very nice thing for me to do. But, Terry, I said, that's not the story of how we met. That's Hansel and Gretel. It's a fairy tale. Remember how I told you that Terry could be a bit annoying at times? Well, this is one of those times. Terry frowns and looks confused. Oh, yeah, my mistake, he says. I remember now. I was making some food to my sick grandmother, and I met you in the wood. You had big eyes, big teeth. Ah! And you were covered in fur those days. Later, you dressed up in my grandmother's clothes. I never really understood why I did that. I didn't do that, I said. And that's not how we met either. That's Little Red Riding Hood. Terry strikes his head. It is? Of course. Sorry, Andy. How could I be so dumb? Hang on, I've got it. There was a castle. He met at the ball and danced. But when the clock struck 12, you went running off and lost your glass slipper. I looked everywhere for you and searched the kingdom far and wide, but Terry, I yelled, you're not even close. That's Cinderella. Terry shrugs. Then I give up. I got no idea how we met. Well, I say, if you promise to be quiet for the next 21 pages, I'll tell you. Okay, says Terry. I promise. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a very big city, and in the very big city, there was a very tall tower, and at the top of the very tall tower, there was an apartment. And in that apartment, there lived a little boy who was very lonely. The little boy was very lonely because he didn't have any friends. And the reason he didn't have any friends was because his parents thought friends were too dangerous. In fact, they thought everything was too dangerous. They never even let the little boy out of the apartment. It's for your own good, darling. He lived in a padded room, slept in a padded, non-fall-out bed, and sat in a padded, non-fall-outable chair, which for extra safety was fitted with airbags and a seatbelt. He wasn't allowed to watch TV. It's not good for your eyes, darling. He wasn't allowed to play on the computer. Too much electromagnetic radiation, darling. And he wasn't allowed to play with toys or any other sort of game. Too much risk of excitement, darling. All he had to amuse himself were books with rounded corners that his parents had selected for him. Secret 7 eat muffins. Just don't. Andy Jefferson. Tomorrow with nothings. Moby Robber Duck. How to wear a helmet correctly. Foam rubber clothes make easy. Stay in bed. Nice dogs, lovely cats. Where the quiet things are. Lace for kids. The dangers of excitement. Diary of a well-disciplined kid. First aid. The day we did nothing. These books contain no harmful ideas, no characters doing dangerous things, nor any stories involving dangers or potentially dangerous situations, which meant they didn't contain much of anything at all, really. The lonely little boy couldn't even eat proper food. His parents mashed and pured all his food to make sure he didn't choke and served it cold to make sure he didn't burn himself. That is, until one day when his parents decided that even a cold mashed up food posed too much of a risk, so they put the little boy on an IV drip instead. And as if all that wasn't enough, his parents also filled the apartment with every type of safety alarm possible. They have fire alarms, flood alarms, burglar alarms, spider alarms, tiger alarms, vampire alarms, false alarm alarms, and false alarms. They also had the little boy fitted with a pair of emergency self-inflating underpants just in case he ever fell into water. They can be operated manually by pulling the cord at the front. Now, you might think emergency self-inflating underpants are a really crazy idea, considering the little boy never even left the apartment, but you would be wrong because, as it turned out, they saved the little boy's life. One night, while everybody was sleeping, a power board overloaded with too many safety devices overheated and caught on fire. The little boy was woken by the fire alarm. He got out of bed and ran to the door, but his way was blocked by smoke and flames. He ran to the window, but of course, it was locked. So the little boy picked up a safety chair, threw it at the window, and smashed a big hole in it. Then he climbed through the broken window and stood on a ledge on the outside of the building. This was by far the most dangerous situation the little boy had ever been in. Well, actually, it was the only dangerous situation he'd ever been in. He looked down at the ground below, a long, long way below. He looked back into his bedroom, which was now completely on fire. He knew jumping from the top floor of a very tall apartment tower was an extremely dangerous thing to do. But he knew that staying in a burning apartment was extremely dangerous too. Possibly even more extremely dangerous than jumping from the top floor of a very tall apartment tower. So he jumped. Down, down, down the little boy fell, but he didn't hit the ground. Yikes! He hit a tree, and then bounced off that tree into another tree, and then bounced off that tree and hit another tree, boing, and then hit a few more trees, boing, clunk, slap, before falling with a big splash into a nearby river. Splash. The little boy couldn't swim, but as soon as he hit the water, his emergency self-inflating underpants activated, and away the little boy floated, floof, down the river, and eventually far out to the sea. Was he all right? Says Terry. Well, as a matter of fact, he was, I say, because I rescued you in a pedal boat. Me? Says Terry. Yes, because you were the boy in the story. I was? Oh, now I remember. It was me? Oh, of course. It was me all along, but what were you doing in a pedal boat? Oh, well, that's actually a whole other story. I said, is it a long story? Kind of. Can we get an ice cream first? What a good idea, I say. Let's go visit Edward's Scooper Hands. This way to the ice cream parlor. Chapter 6, Andy's story. Come on, hurry up. At the ice cream parlor, I got a double scoop chocolate ice cream, but as usual, Terry can't decide what flavor he wants. Hurry up, I say. The readers are waiting. I'm sorry, he says, but there are 78 flavors here. I don't want to make the wrong decision. Maybe you could ask the readers to help you choose. I say, great idea, says Terry. I'll do that. What flavor do you think I should have? Yes, interesting. Perfect. Okay, got it. Thanks for your help. I'll have one with the lot, thanks, Edward, said Terry. One with the lot coming right up, says Edward Scooper hands, as his scooper hands go into super high speed scooping mode. He scoops chocolate and scoops double chocolate and scoops triple chocolate and scoops vanilla and scoops very vanilla and scoops strawberry and scoops cherry and scoops strawberry and cherry and scoops cherry and strawberry and scoops raspberry ripple and scoops blueberry burst and scoops banana blast and scoops watermelon whammy and scoops goldfish surprise and scoops flying monkey and scoops Easter egg and scoops deep fried donut and scoops pizza and scoops hamburger and scoops hot dog and scoops spaghetti and scoops cookies and cream and scoops cheese and biscuits and scoops rum and raisin and scoops fish and chips and scoops tomato sauce and scoops egg and bacon and scoops bacon and no bacon, egg and no bacon and scoop bacon and no egg and scoops no bacon and no egg and scoop Pokemon and scoops summer holiday and scoops new bicycle and scoops Christmas morning and scoops coconut and scoops fallen coconut and scoops bubblegum and scoops lemonade and scoops confetti and scoops butterscotch and scoops hot butter popcorn and scoops melted cheese and scoops Vegemite on toast and scoops breakfast in bed and scoops marshmallow and scoops snakes and ladders and scoops cactuses, no spikes and scoops cactus with spikes. Cactus, no spike, and scoop cactus with spikes, and scoops fresh rain, and scoops electrical storm, and scoops brain freeze, and scoops caramel hump, and scoops fairy braid, and scoops bath foam, and scoops blue heaven, and scoops black forest, and scoops dark side of the moon, and scoops total eclipse, and scoops birthday cake, and scoops lolly bag, and scoops lollipop, and scoops toffee apple, and scoops daffodil, and scoops rainbow, and scoops sherbet, and scoops honeycomb, and scoops chocolate mint, and scoops licorice, and scoops invisible, and scoops tutti frutti, and scoops salt and vinegar, and scoops jelly snake, and scoops jelly bean, and scoops fudge, and scoops rocky road, and scoops yellow brick road, and scoops winding road, and scoops diet road. Finally, Terry's ice cream is ready. That's a lot of scoops, I say. I know, he says, but the readers all suggested different flavors, and I didn't want to disappoint anyone, so I decided to have them all. Make sure you don't eat it too fast, I said. You don't want to get a brain freeze. I won't, says Terry. I'll eat really slowly while you tell the story. All right, I say. Here it goes. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who had the most horrible, terrible, meanest parents in the whole wide world. They were very strict and had all sorts of boring rules and regulations that they forced the poor little boy to follow. Stop. House rules. For example, they made him wear shoes, clean his teeth, good boy, mirror, brush his hair, wear a hat when it was sunny, and a coat when it was cold. They made him help out around the house, do his homework with a knife, eat with a knife and fork, and wouldn't let him stay up all night whenever he felt like it. 7 p.m. bedtime, but the movie hasn't even started yet. It was clear to the boy that he was never going to be an end to his parents' unreasonable rules and regulations, and he decided that he had no choice but to run away from home, and so he did. The little boy loved his new life and was very happy, which wasn't surprising because he didn't have to follow his parents' boring rules anymore. He didn't have to wear shoes, or brush his hair, or wear a hat when it was sunny, or a coat when it was cold, or go to school, or eat with a knife and fork. Slurp. And he could stay up all night whenever he felt like it, which was pretty much every night. He found or borrowed all the food he needed, and became very good at building all sorts of shelters, especially tree houses. Stupid ice cream. One day, however, when the little boy was in a fancy restaurant borrowing some food, he accidentally knocked over one of the tables. An angry waiter chased the boy out of the restaurant, down the street, and across the park. Eventually, the boy came to a lake where there was lots of swan-shaped pedal boats for him. Swan-shaped pedal boats for hire. The little boy couldn't afford to hire a pedal boat, of course, so he borrowed one instead and headed for the far side of the lake, pedaling as fast as his little legs could pedal him. What he didn't realize, however, was that the lake was not really a lake, but an inlet connected to the ocean, and he was carried far out to the sea. He floated in his pedal boat for many days and many nights. The first spotted what looked like a small island with 2 hills in the distance. He paddled towards the island, but as he drew closer, he saw that it wasn't an island at all. It was a boy floating in an enormous pair of inflatable underpants. "Hey," says Terry, "I got a pair of inflatable underpants." "I know," I say, "because that boy was you." "Oh, that's right, and the boy in the pedal boat was you. You rescued me, and that's how you met. I love stories with a happy ending." "But that's not the end," I say. "It's not?" "No, because then we were captured by Captain Woodhead." "Who's Captain Woodhead?" says Terry. "You know," I say, "Captain Woodhead, the pirate." "Pirates?" says Terry. "I hate pirates." "Speaking of pirates," said Jill, coming into the kitchen carrying Captain Woodhead's wooden head, "what do you want me to do with this?" "It'll make a great head for our scarecrow," says Terry. "I didn't know you had a scarecrow," says Jill. "We don't," says Harry, "but if we did, this head would be perfect." "No way," I say. "I don't want to see that man's head ever again. I hated him." "Yeah," says Jill, "so did I." "Oh, did you know him too?" says Terry. "Yes, don't you remember? I was on board his ship when you and Andy were captured. I never forget my first sight of you, Terry. You looked like you were wearing a nappy." "It wasn't a nappy," says Terry. I was wearing emergency self-inflating underpants. They get a bit baggy when they deflate. And Andy was so scared he was crying," says Jill. "I was not crying," I say. "I was just spraying from the sea." "But how come you were on Captain Woodhead's ship in the first place, Jill?" says Terry. "Well, that's kind of a sad story," says Jill. "Oh, goody," says Terry. "I love sad stories." "Okay," says Jill, "but you have to wait until the next chapter." "Oh," sighs Terry, disappointed. "Don't worry," says Jill. "You won't have to wait long. It's just in the next page." "Yay!" says Terry. If you like this channel, please subscribe, rating. Thank you.